Hey, welcome to Mary's Recaps channel. Today, I will tell you about the wonderful, soulful and emotional of 2007 film. Be careful, spoilers alert. Against the background of randomly flashing letters and numbers, teachers with registers read out the results of tests for different years of study, first grade, second, third. And while reading the names of excellent and good students, Ishaan's name is under the spotlight, receiving the lowest marks again. He studies so poorly that he cannot finish the third grade and remains in for the second year. We are talking about the 8-year-old boy Ishaan, who lives in India, goes to a regular school, and falls behind in all subjects. Although it seems the boy himself is not too concerned about his poor progress, he catches fish with a net to launch them into a home aquarium and plays with dogs. While having fun, it means nothing to Ishaan that puppies are eating his module test that he must give his parents to sign. The boy is more interested in the golden buckle found on the ground. Returning home, Ishaan is in no hurry to take lessons, and he behaves like a real slacker and runs into the yard instead of taking up books, unlike his older brother Johan, who excels in all subjects. Unfortunately, Ishaan's relationship with the neighbor boys is also not going well. Instead of participating in the game with everyone, he still fiddles with the dogs, and when the guys ask for a ball that has flown away, he accidentally throws it in the wrong direction. This angers one of the boys. He aggressively demands Ishaan to get the toy lost through his fault, but he does not understand what they want from him. A fight ensues, in which the puny little Ishaan acts unexpectedly aggressive. He gives the enemy a harsh rebuff and then runs away to the roof, knocking over pots of flowers near the offender's apartment along the way. Only when he is alone, the boy gives vent to tears, but quickly pulls himself together, especially since someone else's flying kite descends next to him. Ishaan's house is expecting new problems to appear. The neighbor complains about his behavior, the father is angry, and only his mother, Maya, pities her son. It seems that the only joy of the child is drawing and folding puzzles. The days go by. The father is very busy at work, so even at breakfast he cannot be distracted from business. The eldest son follows his example, plunging headlong into study and training, and the mother is torn between household chores and taking care of Ishaan. One gets the impression that he is constantly in the clouds. If Maya does not get the boy out of bed, does not help brush his teeth and button his shirt, does not make sure that Ishaan eats, he would do just nothing. But even his mother's efforts are sometimes not enough to make him get on the school bus on time. Things are no better in the class. Ishaan cannot find the right page in the textbook, and when asked by the teacher to read the sentence, he says that the letters in front of him are dancing.
The letters are dancing.
For this, the boy is often kicked out of the class, and other students make fun of him and hit Ishaan on the back of the head. Today turned out to be a miserable day. Ishaan did not give the module test to his parents to sign and did not do his homework. To avoid a new punishment, the boy simply runs away from school and wanders the streets, looking at the city until it's time to go home. Ishaan is well aware that his problems will only worsen because of the escape, so at night, he asks his older brother to forge an explanatory note for the teacher. Johan resists at first, but he loves the unlucky Ishaan, and eventually, he is exposed to his request. The following day, the school announced a math test. Ishaan plunges into fantasies, but they are not worthless. It turns out that the boy knows perfectly well the name and order of the planets of the solar system, as well as the fact that Pluto is no longer a planet. This child is not stupid at all, he just does not get numbers and letters. The father returns home, having gone to do some business. At first, Ishaan is thrilled with him and even eats some strawberries, which the man brought as a gift to his sons. Suddenly, the father finds a false explanatory note on the floor and demands answers from his son. Where was he if not at school? Who helped to do this? Ishaan does not betray his brother, but he can no longer avoid a serious beating. An angry father goes to school, where teachers complain about the boy. He is lazy, does not want to learn to read and write, and constantly asks to leave the class. In the end, the headmistress hints that Ishaan needs a special school, but his parents don't even want to hear about it. Seeing no other way out, the father uses his connections to transfer his son to a boarding school right in the middle of the school year, where he will be forced to take up his mind. Ishaan despairs his father's decision. He has nightmares about it, but he fails to convince his parents. The boy is taken to the boarding school, where he sits on the bed's edge and looks into the void. Meanwhile, Maya, sorting through her son's things at home, finds a notebook in which he depicted his family and himself, gradually moving away from her. It looks like a real cartoon created by an 8-year-old child. Ishaan's business is no better in the new place than at home. He cannot cope with the school uniform and is afraid of strict teachers. When he tries to explain the poem that the best student in Rajan's class reads aloud, the teacher rudely laughs at him. However, not everything is that bad. Rajan is trying to support the newcomer, says that he understood the poem correctly, and gives him tips on getting along with the teachers. It looks like Ishaan has a friend now. but the drawing lesson plunges the boy into despair again. He is distracted by a bird's nest outside the window, for which he receives 5 painful blows with a ruler on the knuckles from the teacher. The situation is even worse with other subjects. The letters continue to dance before Ishaan's eyes, the notebooks are scribbled with the teacher's red pen, and he receives many remarks. Parents, having come to visit the boy for the weekend, find him silent and depressed. Even his brother's gift, a set of paints, displeases Ishaan, and the gift goes to the drawer of the bedside table unpacked. When a young and energetic teacher Ram arrives to replace the former art teacher, everything changes one day. He is sincerely passionate about his subject, loves children, knows how to find a common language with them, and makes lessons fun. Ram wants not just to follow the school curriculum but to unleash the potential of children. Ishaan, intimidated by failures and abuse, does not touch paints, and although Ram cares about this, he does not rebuke the boy, stating that he just needs to wait for inspiration. Trouble continues to come to Ishaan. His mother calls him and informs him that his older brother has an important tennis match this weekend, so the family will not be able to come to visit the boy. Ram, too, is not going smoothly in relationships with colleagues. Teachers disapprove of his ardor, believing that the main thing in the lessons is discipline, work, and not self-expression.
Kids have to compete, succeed, make a future.
Someone even advises Ram to do his experiments at a school for children with developmental problems, where a young teacher works permanently. Anyway, these students have no future, and they have nothing to lose. Ram strongly disagrees. He talks a lot with children, whom others disparagingly call retarded, and believes each child has his own talent and individuality. In Ishaan's dark eyes, Ram reads a plea for help, although he doesn't know what to do yet. He becomes assured when Rajan tells the teacher that his friend tries very hard to read and write correctly, but he fails. The teacher studies the boy's notebooks and finds patterns that lead him to one idea. Johan loses the tournament, which makes his father unhappy. The man squints at the winner's family and clearly wants the same for his son. But Ram loves children, regardless of their talents and successes. It costs him nothing to help a strange woman on the bus change a baby or feed a boy who works in a local eatery. The teacher comes home to Ishaan's parents and convinces them to look at their son's problems differently. He is amazed by the boy's drawings, his rich imagination and abilities. Ishaan is not lazy and not a bully. He just has dyslexia, a disorder in which it is challenging to connect sounds and letters. The same disease affects motor skills, so Ishaan finds it difficult to do simple actions like buttoning buttons or throwing a ball. No, there is no need to put an end to it. All children have their own pace of development, and many shortcomings can be corrected. Ram does not convince the parents completely, but makes them wonder. And in the meantime, he conducts a lesson in which he tells students about people who were considered almost backward but who achieved great success: Einstein, Leonardo da Vinci, Picasso, Walt Disney, and Agatha Christie. Encouraged, Ishaan listens attentively to him and even joins the conversation for the first time, remembering who invented electricity.
Thomas Alva Edison.
Bilkul sahi, Ishaan. Very good.
After the lessons, the teacher tells the boy that he has dyslexia, but it did not prevent Rama from growing up as a versatile person and finding his calling. That's why the teacher paid attention to Ishaan. He saw in him a little himself, and remembered how hard it was to grow up with a strict father who did not want to understand his son's needs. Ram knows better than anyone what the boy had to go through. Ishaan begins to believe in himself. On a walk, he assembles a waterfowl out of rubber bands and sticks, which all the children admire, further strengthening his self-confidence. Meanwhile, Ram goes to the boarding school director and tells him about Ishaan's dyslexia. The man is frankly happy, because he has long wanted to get rid of the negligent student, whom all boarding school teachers complain about. Illness is a great reason to exclude a boy. However, Ram persuades the director to give Ishaan a chance at a normal future. He is sure that the mental abilities of the child are much higher than average, you just need to help him use them. With difficulty, but the men agreed, Ram will have after classes with Ishaan, and the director would ask the teachers to interrogate him orally, without forcing him to read and write. The hard work begins. Ram applies different techniques that he mastered in his main job, supports Ishaan in every possible way, and things move forward. When, secretly from his wife, the father comes to talk to the teacher, he is still skeptical, but Ram tells the man about the tribe from the Solomon Islands. If they need to free up land for crops, the islanders do not take up axes, they come with the whole village to the selected area and angrily scold the trees, after which they begin to dry. The impressed father understands that his strictness towards his son, evil words and punishments are ruining the child. Ashamed, he leaves and sees Ishaan below, who is reading aloud an advertisement for an art competition. There are tears in the man's eyes, but he cannot show them to his son and just runs away. The day of the competition arrives. In the morning, Ishaan dresses slowly in front of the mirror. He still has a hard time buttoning up buttons and tying his shoelaces, but the boy manages everything and even puts his hair in a neat hairstyle. He wanders in the semi-darkness on the territory of the sleeping boarding school, thinking about something. During the day, Ram is making final preparations for the competition. Thoughts about Ishaan do not leave the man even in fuss. He continually asks the students about the boy, fearing that he would not dare to appear. But no, Ishaan still finds the strength to come and take up the paint. Ram smiles as he writes the first, still timid, lines on the paper. Now the teacher himself can take up drawing. The competition is fun and bright. Students, children, and guests get a lot of fun. When Ishaan comes to give Ram his work, he suddenly sees the picture the teacher is working on. This is Ishaan's face, only cheerful and laughing. The boy cannot hold back his tears, realizing that Ram managed to understand him, to reveal the forces hidden in him. At the summing up of the results of the competition, Ishaan's bright and full of fantasy work is chosen for the cover of the school yearbook, awarding him the title of winner. The boy is happy, and he cries and hugs Ram. The parents, who came to pick up their son for the holidays, listen with bewilderment and delight to the teachers who praise Ishaan in every possible way. Now he is doing well, and dyslexia no longer prevents the boy from studying. Ram and Ishaan say a warm goodbye.
I'm gonna miss you.
Promising to meet again after the holidays. Ram will no longer be a substitute teacher, as he decided to continue working at the boarding school. Did you like it? Well, if you want to enjoy even more exciting stories, then be sure to watch all of them. It won't leave you indifferent. It was Mary with you. See you in the following videos. Bye bye.